Retired and moving to Colorado? Awesome. Let's talk about how to land that dream Colorado home. Hey everybody, it's Alyson Wahl with Live South Denver, your real estate strategist and realtor for the South Denver area. So I do know a thing or two about what to consider as you're poking around some of these best places to retire. On top of questions about where to live, I get a lot of questions about how to make retiring here in Colorado happen. Talking with a great lender will be one of my first suggestions, and I have some names for you if you need it. But since we're chatting, here are some things that you need to know about making retiring in Colorado happen. First up, make sure you've got a good grasp on the budget you're gonna need for the area you wanna live in and the type of the home that you're desiring. So very often I'm chatting with folks and they've got a number in mind, and then they share about the kind of home that they want, and those two don't really mesh, particularly for the Denver market. Not every time, but often. And if they do have a number that works for the Denver market, oftentimes it's for a home that's smaller, maybe older, in a part of town that doesn't have a 55 plus community, and that might be on their wish list. Or their wish list is for new construction and a home with views. So getting your wish list together and making sure your budget matches up with that, or figuring out where your budget matches up with that, is really the very first step. Okay, once the budget is determined, if moving forward and heading to Denver is still a viable option, the next step is, how are you going to finance that property? Do you plan to leverage your 401k or other investment assets to purchase the property? Most folks do. Will you pay cash? Will that cash come from the sale of your current home? Will that cash come from investment assets? No matter the source of cash, if you're paying cash for the home, that is absolutely the easiest way to purchase a property in retirement. Are you looking at getting a mortgage on the property, having a loan? If you are, do you have a source or multiple sources of income? Income does not have to mean a job. I'm guessing you may know that, but just to be clear, it does not mean a job. But just like in your younger years, to have a loan, you do have to have income. The lender will require sources of income to give you a loan. Oh, before I forget, before we talk about sources of income, you can go to the description box below in this video and you can get your free retirement relocation guide for the Denver area. Absolutely free and just for you. So what are some common popular sources of income that the lender may look at? Social Security, of course. If the Social Security benefit is your own, there's no defined expiration date on it. If the Social Security benefit that you are leveraging is your spouse's, then that benefit must continue for at least 3 years after the date of the mortgage application. Corporate and government pension. Those are so rare these days, but if you have one, how valuable is that? Rental property income or some other passive income stream. That's another great source for income. Part-time work or self-employment income. So the part-time work, if you live in another state and you are relocating here to Denver and you aren't going to transfer with that job, then the part-time income will not count. But sometimes you do get to transfer with that job. I had a retiring couple where the gentleman worked part-time with Home Depot and he transferred to a Home Depot out here and kept that position. So he was able to leverage that income. And there's also interest and dividend income off of your investments, of course. All of the above at the time of recording this video do not have a defined expiration date as a source of income. Retirement drawdown is another common source of income. Here, the lender is looking at least 2 months of regular and consistent withdrawals from your retirement account to leverage that as income. Working with your wealth manager, your lender, your financial partner, all to figure out when the right timing is to start those distributions is certainly to your advantage. Lenders will use an asset depletion method to value your 401ks, your IRAs, and other retirement accounts if they are going to be used as a source of income. Using the asset depletion method means there is a defined expiration date, and it will be 30 years from the date of the mortgage application. You can find some great examples online for the asset depletion method, but I'm going to give one here as well. Let's say your portfolio was $3 million and you wanted to purchase a $1 million home. The lender is going to take 70% of the value of your account as its available balance. They're going to do this after you take out any funds that you may use from this account for your down payment, for closing costs, for moving costs. So for this example, let's say you took out $115,000 for down payment, closing costs, and a little bit of help for moving. That leaves us with $2,885,000. We multiply that by 70%. We get $2,019,500, and we divide that by 360 because that is a 30-year term. And that shows that you would be able to afford on these numbers roughly a $5,500 a month house payment. If you are looking at retiring early, not all of this applies because some retirement accounts leverage penalties if you access the funds early. If that's the case, the lender doesn't let you touch those funds. So this is where your wealth management team, a lender, and your finance people talking you through your options really becomes so important. Really, none of what I shared here may be a surprise to you, but occasionally I do surprise a few folks when we get on a Zoom call and talk about their wish list and talk about their plans. Their entire plan had been to sell a beautiful, stately, stunning home in a lower cost of living state. Most of them owned the home outright. Take all of that cash, come here and use it to buy a home with cash, maybe put in a little bit extra, and get something that was smaller, but still new and lovely. And they thought that our market would allow them to do that. And then when we start to dig in on their must-haves and their wish list and where they want to be relative to family or friends or amenities or things they like to do, they discover that maybe it wouldn't work. So then when they realize they need an income stream or a bigger one, and they aren't ready to do that, and their wealth team isn't encouraging that, it makes for some big shifts, either in their goals or in their house or in their plans to retire. Here, as I shared, step one is knowing your budget. So that's what I'm here for. You want to chat about budget, your wish list, your plans, what you want in a house? Let's connect. I would love it. Please feel free to reach out however works for you. You can call, text, email, and I look forward to chatting with you. I'll see y'all next week.